Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today, or I guess not today because it's already dark right now, but on this video, I'm going to be working on getting the rear differential out. Let me remove you off the tripod and then let's kind of go over some things. So, um, I don't know what it is about this, but I've lived in I moved out here about two or so years ago. And now, just recently, within the last like 2 or so weeks, all of my cars have began to have oil leaks. I used to live in a place that was not as hot as it gets here. Like it gets really hot here. And so I don't know if maybe that's got something to do with it. So I haven't really uploaded because I have been trying to diagnose this thing here, find out where the oil leak is coming from, because this one has an oil leak. And I took it out a couple times and then I brought it back and I noticed it was leaking. And to some, it just might be like, oh, well, it's a leak, you know, you can just live with it or whatever. However, this car has sentimental value to me, and if it's not running right or if it has some sort of issue or something like that, then I'm not having a good day. So I have to figure out what's wrong with it right away. I'm kind of OCD on that car like that. So I've spent a lot of time and I've come to the conclusion that I'm going to do a job that I had been kind of putting off. And I think this is why I got this oil leak now, because I kind of deserve this for procrastinating. So I don't know how much of this car I will show on this channel, outside of you guys just seeing the exterior of it, but who knows, I might show some stuff. All right, so enough of that. Let's put the focus back on this 31. I have lifted it up. It's on jack stands. The jack stands are on the frame. It's kind of dark down there, but I'm going to remove the back wheels. Unfortunately, I lifted them up. They're off the ground. So I'm going to hit the e-brake. Hopefully that's strong enough to let me remove the lug nuts, and then I'm going to pull the wheels off. That's as far as I'm going to get for today. Tomorrow, it will be removing this differential. All right, so I've got the wheels off, and right now I have my jack under there supporting the jack stands. You know, I don't always trust jack stands. There's no reason not to trust them, but you know, it's better to be safe than sorry, especially since I'm going to be under there and there's just not very much of a of a gap. Even if this car was to fall a few inches, this gas tank is so low that and it's, you know, a steel gas tank, so I'm sure you'd have one heck of a time if the back end of this fell down. So I have the frame supported by jack stands, and then my jack there. And then right now, I just need to hit these with a hammer and get these off. I've released the e-brake though. If you have the e-brake on, it's going to be very hard to take these off. Once you get them loose, mine actually didn't require too much effort. They weren't locked in because the car doesn't get moved around so much. So once you get them out, we gotta get this out of here, and I have to figure out how this one actually comes out. Usually there's holes in here that let you grab the bolts that are down there. However, I don't see that on this setup. Real quickly, let me show you. On my setup, there's this bracket here held by those two nuts there, and then on the other side it's the, let me see if I can get back there, it's the same thing. There they are. So I need to release those 4 nuts, and then I should be able to pull this out. I'm getting a little carried away. One thing I need to still do is I need to drain the differential. So down here, let me see if I can point. Right there is the drain plug. And so I need to remove that before I go any further, have all the oil dump out, and then I'll work on getting these out. My drain plug is just a solid square, so it does. I don't believe it's any special tool to get that off, and I don't believe it's torqued down. So I'm just going to grab a regular wrench and let's see if I can't get it to break loose. I have this pan down here, and so just going to be twisting, and just like that. Gotta love the smell of gear oil, but should just be able to come out now. Huh, the oil's pretty clean, so that's good. Okay, as that's draining, now let's see if we can't remove these. They look to be like 12 millimeters, and they aren't. Hopefully they're not locked in. I'm just going to get some PB blaster and spray them just in case. All right, so I've got it pulled out. Well, not pulled out, but I've got the bracket off. Basically, these just kind of went on each corner, and this is the bracket that keeps this in here, these bolts there. So that's where the bracket used to be, in here. And so that bracket goes along this metal piece here, keeping this from coming out. So I just got to release the one on the other side, and then before I pull the axles out, I'll start releasing the drive line. All right, so this hub is, or not hub, I don't have it out yet, but the nuts are off so that the axle can come out. Now I'm underneath the car, and let me see if I can not put my fat hand in the way. Actually, my hands aren't really fat, but that's not the point. I've just hand tightened the drain plug back in, just so that it's not dripping on me while I'm under here. And then I'm going to be releasing these 4 bolts here so that I can release the drive line. So the nuts are off, and mine have these like, let me see if I can show you, maybe. So there's like this U clamp here, similar to the ones that you kind of see on exhaust. Kind of like the one on that, kind of over there. Anyway, once I pull those off, I just need to stick a crowbar in here to push this out. However, I'm going to strap this to the frame up there so that it's just hanging and doesn't, you know, get in the way. Okay, so let me see if I can be not really close. This nut right here, this nut has to be preloaded. And that's what I'm not trying to mess with. I don't have the tool to do this. And so I don't really plan on doing this too often. Normally I'd just buy the tool because let's say I was planning to do this or had a lot of vehicles that required this. However, that's not the case with this. I feel like I'm only going to do this once before I start making changes to this car. And so I'm not going to worry about it for now. Hopefully I don't regret those words. One thing that I like to kind of show, and maybe I can do this here. Maybe I still need to go back. I don't know how well we'll be able to see this. But down here, at the bottom, there's 2 nuts. And let me kind of get a little closer there. This one here, and the other one over here. These 2, you can't fit a socket in here. There's just not enough space. And that is how you know that you have got a 9-inch rear differential, because of that, of these 2 things here, well, these 2 nuts here. Of course, if I'm wrong, or if there's any other way that you may know of that you check for those, or check to identify what type of differential you have, by all means, comment below. I don't even remotely claim to be an expert in these older cars. Right, so now
is kind of getting a little hard to see in here, but it's time to begin removing. I don't know what's up with this car and why the previous or whoever built it felt like zip tying lines was the way to go. I'm going to get steel lines, steel ties, and eventually I'll change these up. But for now, yeah, trust me, they bother me as much as they probably will bother you. Anyhow, I gotta get all the bolts that are around the differential. Let me see if I can come back again. So just all the ones that are going around here. This thing weighs quite a bit. I think it weighs 70, 80-ish pounds maybe. And so before, I'm just going to get them all so that they're just like hand tight, and then I'll support it either with a jack or something, and then I'm going to have to figure out how to muscle it out of here. So I'm having a hard time getting the differential off of the casing because it's siliconed on. So I'm going to have to pry it and everything like that. But in the meantime, I decided to clean up this oil. I didn't want it to smell or have my garage smell like gear oil. And kind of found some interesting stuff. All those metal shavings everywhere. So now I'm really curious, and like even a staple, maybe, a slight maybe, that a staple fell into here from where I have like some tools over there. So that, okay, but these, the last time I used this pan was like 2 days ago to catch the power steering fluid from my race car, and I'm 110% sure that my power steering fluid did not have these metal shavings. So I have to either rebuild that differential or source out another one, depending on what the pinion and gears inside of it look like. If you don't have a puller for this part, just get creative. So I took the drum cover, put it backwards, put the lug nuts on. They have about that much to go. And just go back and then pull. And it's coming. So one thing I didn't do is I didn't tighten these nuts here on these bolts. Well, I didn't tighten the bolts on the nuts. So I have this got released from there. Luckily, it didn't hit it hard enough to break this line or anything like that. And this is just a cable. So I'm going to quickly put this back into these bolts, put nuts on, and then I'll continue to hit it, but see it's coming out. All right, so the axle is out, it's right there, and you can also see my tripod. I just need to pull the other side, and then I'm going to release the bottom of the differential. Release, I guess, where it's sealed because there's RTV in there, so I need to break that seal. I'm not going to try to muscle that thing out of there because it's really heavy. Even the differentials for like my other cars that are not this old are still like around 70-ish or so pounds. So I have my motorcycle jack, and I've used this in the past to lower down transmissions. So there's definitely a lot of space in here. Hopefully, if it's without issues, I'm going to use it to lower down the differential. Thankfully, it fits under here, barely, but it does fit. Squeezes between the fender and the hub, or the brakes, so I don't have to really lift the car up anymore. So we're just going to pump this up. Whoopsies. So we're just going to pump this up to about just a couple of inches. So all I have to do is just kind of pull it back, and then it should fall like the where the brackets are kind of screwed in, that should fall right on that leg. And then this other part should fall on the other leg. And so we should be good. It kind of looks like I'm really far off, but I really am like maybe 1 centimeter away from touching the actual differential back there. And just like that, she's out and down. I'm not too familiar with these differentials, so I'm not really sure how this would have happened here. Let me see if I can spin it. So it's got that gash there, and then let me see if I can get it to stand. 1 sec. Spin it again. And it's got this big mark here. So that's what's been causing the metal shavings. I just don't know how that's rubbing down there. There's got to be something flexing, or I don't know. But I'm not going to deal with it. Instead, trying to rebuild this and everything, I'm sure would cost just as much as a new one. So time to get a new one. New diff. So this one, it's not limited slip, as you can tell, but it will serve its purpose. Not the, you know, if later on I decide that I want to go LSD, I'll install the LSD kit. But for now, I'm more than fine with at least just getting my car ran. So I like the brand, same gears, so 370. I was fortunate enough to find it online and locally. It was here at one of the classic car auto shops out here, and so I will need to break it in. It's actually new. It's only got about a mile in it from what I was told, maybe 2 miles on it, so I have to break it in. But outside of that, and whenever that time comes, but outside of that, this is more than what I need, so I'm very fortunate to have found it. All right, so I gotta do some cleaning of the housing, and if I can't have metal shavings in there, so that's gonna take me a second to do, and I will get back to you once I have it all cleaned out. I'm a little unsure as to what I'm going to do to clean it. More than likely, I will probably use a brake cleaner, but yeah, let me kind of mess with this. Okay, so right now I've cleaned a lot of this out. If we go in here, this area back there where the axle housing joins this housing, in between those gaps was a nightmare to clean out, but there was so much debris in there I couldn't just leave it like that. This side, for whatever reason, wasn't as bad, but that side over there really had a lot. This side here had a lot going on. These little cracks, like these gaps in here, those were also kind of somewhat challenging to do. And then the gaps back, like over here, I hope that nothing goes in here, or nothing went in there, nothing was small enough to go in there. I put as much liquid through there. I've been cleaning it out with diesel. I put as much diesel in there. Hopefully it seeped out through the bottom, and any flakes or anything like that also came out. But yeah, so that's where the cleaning is at right now. I just need to now go over the outside part here, clean all this out. I'm going to just be installing a paper gasket because I will be eventually removing this differential out to add the posi. As I mentioned before, to clean the entire housing out, I used one of these and a rag, and then I was using diesel in this spray bottle, and basically I was just spraying the diesel in there, scrubbing it, and later running the cloth over the scrubber, and then just wiping down. So that's basically how I was able to keep all of this clean. And to question myself, so I've cleaned this up even more, but this is all done now, by the way. I don't know if I showed this previously. I took a wire brush, hooked it up to my drill, and had to go all the way around here because that the RTV that was on here was just not coming off. But now everything in here is super clean. Go back in there, it's all clean. Over here, it's clean. Maybe didn't do it very good. And there, super clean. I was worried about those gaps, like I said before, but now I am, I mean, I've done the best that I can, so hopefully this is sufficient. The gasket is on. It's just a matter of lifting the differential up here, but I gotta go mess with the bearings real quick. What I'm doing to clean out the bearings is I'm standing this up. Right now I can't do it because I have the camera in my hands, but I'm taking this spray, which is just lubricating oil, and I'm spraying it inside there, like that. We can spin this one real quick. Oh man, don't want to run out. There we go. So I'm doing that, and then I'm going to stand it up. What I'm kind of hoping for is that if there are any shavings in here, that they fall out. When I spin it, it doesn't have any play, or it doesn't feel like it's going through sand. I used to skateboard, so when the wheel bearings on the skateboard wheels got messed up, or got full of dirt, you could definitely tell that they were filled with filled with sand. And so I'm kind of looking for that type of feeling in these. Technically, you just want to replace these. If you are at a point where you find so many metal shavings, it's usually just best to replace them than, you know, than to clean them out. I'm going to take a risk on them. I don't believe that there's any serious issue here. I don't know if I said this, but I shot these with pressurized air when I had them upside down, just kind of in here, just to make sure that if there was any debris, it was definitely coming out. While the oil was dripping from here, the pressurized air would help just blow anything out of there. But again, you know, instead of having to go through this and, you know, take the risk that maybe the race is scarred or anything like that, and, you know, you're just kind of putting it back in there like this, while you have them out, just press them out, replace them, and you won't have to deal with this process. All right, she's on my jack, so it's just a matter of lifting the jack up and lining her up into her home. And up she goes. Okay, I think I'm getting close. Okay, that was a struggle, but it's all in here and it's bolted up. So it's just a matter of torquing all these bolts down. You don't want to pack these because it is a floating axle, so the gear oil actually does all the lubrication on these. When I took these out, they were packed, and so I don't know about that, but I have some 75-90. I don't want them to be dry, and I am going to pour some of this around here on both of them. I don't know why I have an extra lid, that was weird. But I'm going to pour a little bit of that on both of them before I install them. I haven't connected the drive line yet because I want, in case I have to move it around so that the splines, I'm like pointing at it, so that the splines can go in and line up. Sometimes it just needs a little bit of tweaking so that these slide all the way in. So I'm currently just tightening the drive line. I've got it connected in here and everything like that. Everything's torqued. These bolts are kind of hard to get a socket in there, so I did my best with a wrench. Hopefully that doesn't cause issues and they just end up leaking there. I need to put sealant on, silicone on the drain plug and tighten that, but that's because I haven't filled it. So right here is where you fill it. Let me see if I can get back. There. And so once the oil fills up and it starts coming back out, then you know that's full.
So it's actually getting pretty late on me now, and I'm going to have to continue this tomorrow. Even one of my lights shut off. I need to still fill the differential with oil. I decided to go with 85 140. That's what I've read, and some companies have suggested for that driveline. I mean that driveline for that rear end, and so I have seen in forums that people are using 80/90, but I just feel more comfortable using what other companies are suggesting. As far as breaking the differential in, that'll have to be at another time. Because I found shavings in that oil, now I'm concerned about the front of the car, so transmission, engine, and everything like that. I was planning to redo the gaskets for the pans anyway, so those will be videos coming up. For now, putting on the wheels and then bringing the car down off the jack stands, that's pretty simple, so I'm not really going to show that. And instead, we're just going to call it good for now, and I will just catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching, and see you later.